As temperature records are broken all over the planet this summer, scientists are also increasingly concerned about what's happening to the sea ice around Antarctica. William Brangham, who's reported from that southernmost continent and has been talking with some of those researchers, is here now to explain. Good to see you.
Hi.
So what is happening down there? It's wintertime. You would assume there is more ice, not less?
Right, you would assume that. And remember, Antarctica is this colossal continent covered completely in ice. It is the size of the United States and Mexico combined, covered with huge ice sheets and glaciers. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about sea ice, which is frozen seawater, and that ice grows every year from the periphery of Antarctica outwards. It's like this incredible halo that grows out across the ocean. We can see this NASA animation of what it looks like. That growth of that sea ice is so massive, it doubles the size of the continent every single year. But the problem is that this year, and last year to a similar extent, that ice has not been growing nearly as quickly. I want to put up this other chart here. This shows the traditional, that line at the top is what normal growth of the sea ice is. Mm-hmm. That red line below is where we are now. It is a marked difference. That is roughly the size of Alaska that is missing ice now in the Southern Ocean.
That's remarkable to see in that graphic there. So you've been talking to researchers. Do they know why this is happening?
It is a complicated picture, and there are some leading suspects, and these are all suspects that we have our fingerprints on. Mm-hmm. The first one is that the ocean is warmer. We have seen that all over the world. As we burn coal and oil and gas and warm the atmosphere, that warms this planet, and the oceans absorb the bulk of that warming. Warmer ocean water makes it hard to grow ice. That's pretty standard physics. The air is warmer as well. That makes it harder to grow ice. Wind is also complicit in this, changing wind patterns. Wind is really important in how ice grows off of Antarctica and where it grows. Those things are changing. Again, scientists believe that we are one of the main drivers of this, but the exact mechanism is not totally clear.
So what's the bigger concern in all of this? If that sea ice is not growing at the rate it's expected to, what are the consequences of that?
This is the biggest issue here, and the reason we care about this is that ice provides all sorts of incredibly valuable things for us. First off, that ice keeps the southern hemisphere cooler, and you think of ice as this flat white surface. That reflects the sun's radiant energy off into space. If that ice is not there, that sunlight hits the ocean, warms the oceans. This is part of a very complicated engine that drives ocean currents globally and weather patterns globally. So disrupting that could cause huge problems. Mm-hmm. This sea ice also protects the glaciers that are sitting up on land in Antarctica. We want those glaciers to stay there. If they slip into the ocean, that raises sea level rise globally. So that sea ice is like a buffer. It's like a big inner tube protector around that ice. We don't want that to go away. And thirdly, there are animals that live all over Antarctica, and they, in one way or another, benefit from that ice. Penguins, seals, whales, the tiny krill that live in the water there, mm-hmm. all spend part of their life on that sea ice, and it's important. One of the researchers I talked with recently is a woman named Marilyn Raphael. And in addition to explaining a lot of this mechanism to me, I asked her how she sees this data. Here's what she had to say.
There is a part of me that's scientifically interested in what's happening, like what is at work here. That is completely separate from the other part, that's the citizen of the world part, that says, this is really shocking, and it's not good. It's not good news for our system. And not just the Antarctic system, but for our global climate system. I look at the curve daily, but I look at that curve early, and I'm almost willing it to inch upwards, but it's not listening to me.
Researchers all over the world are willing that graph to go up, to grow more of this sea ice, but there is no evidence that it is. We are about to hit the peak of the Antarctic winter, meaning so if its chances of growing to its fullest extent are about to run out, soon the sun will return to the southern hemisphere, and that already shrunken ice will continue to melt and break up and go away.
Incredibly sobering information. William Brangham, thank you for your expertise on this and your reporting.
My pleasure.